now we're back to learning Photoshop in a year. This is day 14. Let me show you a color splash effect. And this effect uses the principle that I've introduced in the last tutorial. It used the layer mask. Let me copy the original by pressing Ctrl J. And now we add what is called an adjustment layer. We want to use black and white. And this opens a new layer which is black and white and has a layer mask by default. If you left click here on this icon, you can adjust all of these black and white colors manually. I'm gonna go over black and white effects in the future as well, but for now we'll just use auto here. This should give you a good result for whatever photo you've got. If you want to use the same photo that I use, you'll find it via the description link below. Now we switch to the layer mask here, which is this white rectangle, and if I make this invisible you can see the original is below it, which is colored. If I use the brush tool and I make this black, you can flip the colors right here. We'll make this a bit bigger, maybe 200 pixels. I left click drag with the black color, and you can actually see this black, what is it, a stripe, stroke, whatever you want to call it, on your layer mask, and this blends now through. So wherever there's black now on the layer mask, this black and white effect will vanish and we will blend through the original, which is colored. So our layer below the original copy will then be visible. We can now use this to create the color splash effect and only make this flower colored and everything else black and white. It's not the easiest example that I've picked. We have to go over a little bit of details, but it's a good chance for you to practice this. So if you use the same image, you can use that to practice a little bit using the brush tool. As I've said, link to it is in the description below. So now we've got it, but we definitely have to work on the outlines. So I flip the colors and I make it white. You can also press the short key X for that. It switches them between foreground and background color, which is black and white in our case. If it isn't black and white for you, you can also click on these two smaller squares where you can see the color swatches and make that black and white. For white now, it brings back the layer, which is our black and white adjustment layer, and therefore we can now use white to basically get rid of the color. And this is what we want to have for the background. And now I'll just have to go over this step by step. Let me just explain a couple of shortkeys. I zoom holding Alt and then I use the mouse wheel for in and out. You can also release Alt and then use the mouse wheel and then you will move a little bit around in the image. But faster is to hold space and then left click drag. So when you hold space, your cursor will change and then you have this little hand icon and you can use that with the left click drag on your mouse to move around in the image much faster. As I said, X is the short key for flipping between black and white. We have to do that a couple of times. We have to do that actually quite a lot in this example. And then we have to resize our brush a couple of times. And you can do that at the top where it says 100 right now. I mentioned this in the last tutorial. The more time you invest into these Photoshop projects, the better results will look. And this is especially true for everything that involves the brush tool. You can see that here we had to spend close to 10 minutes to fix all of these little details. And if I would zoom in further, we would still have a couple of pixels here and there to fix. And that's what I mean by the results will look better the more time you invest. But this should be good for our tutorial. So let me press Ctrl 0. This zooms out to the canvas size. And you can see we've gotten the backgrounds black and white, and the flower is still colored. And that is what is typically referred to as a color splash effect. Hope this video was helpful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.